I had to bust out the Celsius for this one, boys. All right. Is Mark Zuckerberg actually buying Supreme? Let's talk about it. I've seen this posted everywhere. I have people in my DMs asking me, is this really happening? What's going on? Is Mark Zuckerberg of Meta gonna become a part-time owner of Supreme? And there's people like Saturday Night Live that are reposting it. And let me just tell you guys, Mark Zuckerberg is not buying Supreme. Let me explain. I first got sent this clip by this guy, Bima Williams. I have no idea who this dude is. Seems like he does a lot of videos about streetwear and sneakers. Probably a cool dude, but he posted a video that, in my opinion, is extremely misleading. And let's just play it really quick.
Are you ready for the Supreme and Meta collab?
All right, Supreme and Meta collab, that's stretching it a little bit, but I'll give him the pass because it's catching. It makes people want to keep watching the video. Fair enough. But calling this a collab is a bit of a stretch.
The streets are saying Mark Zuckerberg and Meta are eyeing a 5% stake in Supreme's new parent company, EssilorLuxottica.
Okay, that is true. Meta is looking to purchase 5% of Supreme's new parent company. But what does that actually mean? Well, it means that Meta would have 5% stake in that company, meaning that in boardroom meetings, Meta and Mark Zuckerberg could vote for company-wide decisions made by EssilorLuxottica, which has nothing to do specifically with Supreme. EssilorLuxottica owns Ray-Bans, LensCrafters, tons of other optical brands, and they just now have acquired Supreme, which would be their very first actual clothing sub-brand. Like I talked about on stream, EssilorLuxottica makes lenses and glasses for many brands, but you wouldn't say that Mark Zuckerberg buying 5% of Luxottica means, oh, he's now going to own 5% of Ferrari. Oh my God, he's going to make decisions for F1. Not how it works.
And if this goes through, you might even see Supreme and Meta smart glasses.
This is the problem, guys. You can't just make these wild speculations. He said we might, but says who? Where's the evidence to support that? I think there's just some problems with the speculation that's going on around this potential deal.
Maybe some things do need gatekeeping, but
what does that even mean? I disagree entirely. I think gatekeeping is bad 99% of the time.
But enough of all that. I'm Bima, and you're in the Collab Lab. Together, let's decode the secrets of collab marketing. Now, if Supreme wants to recapture its magic, it ain't gonna happen with Zuck. Here's
Why not? Zuck's been wearing a chain and he's been looking dope lately. How do we know that?
a few things to consider. First off, they need to figure out their why. Beyond the hype and the collabs, why does Supreme exist in 2024?
I'm gonna sound like I'm disagreeing with everything this guy is saying, but what do you mean, why does it exist in 2024? There's clearly people that love buying it all the time. It's still super popular, you know?
Also, respect to James Jibbia, but bring in a young, hungry creative director who understands that Supreme rebelliousness paired with that high-end taste. And
I totally agree with that. I think Supreme absolutely needs to do that, and he is spot on with that assessment that we need some more creativity. We need younger designers. We need hungry people. 100% agree.
another idea, launch an exclusive sub-label like Jordan Brand Special Projects, right? Make it limited and cater to your diehards. And
That'd be cool. I would love it if Supreme actually created some more opportunities to get hands on their product, limited factors, do more stuff with the in-stores, create more stores. I mean, Supreme has been growing like crazy with the China store, Korea, all the European stores they've created. I think a sub-label would be amazing.
finally, two wrongs don't make a right. You got to break up with these big brand collaborators. Today, Supreme should elevate.
I don't know if I agree with that. I think the big brand collaborators are their bread and butter, but what I will say is some of the brand collaborations, like the North Face, are losing some of their luster. So maybe they do need to switch it up and take some risks, do some things that people aren't expecting.
Small brands like Nike once did for them. So let's play this out. Can a Supreme and Meta collab actually work?
It's not a Meta collab, so let's just get that clear. Mark Zuckerberg is thinking about buying 5% of a glasses company that just acquired Supreme. I don't even know if that deal is fully done yet. I looked it up and it says they are in talks still of buying them, but I've also seen people say that VF Corp has already sold Supreme. So I don't know.
Or would this be the death of Supreme?
The death of Supreme. That's the thing that's the most annoying to me, guys, is people are acting like this would kill Supreme. It's not that deep. It's a 5% company investment. We've seen Supreme get venture capitalist financing since 2017 with Carlyle Group, which barely changed anything. We saw them obviously get sold to VF Corp, which in my opinion wasn't the best deal of all time, but Supreme survived. And now we're into a new company, EssilorLuxottica, and Mark Zuckerberg is thinking about buying 5% of that parent company. It doesn't make any sense. But let's look at some official articles and see if we can get some understanding of what's actually going on and if we have any cause to be concerned about this happening to Supreme. All right, Mark Zuckerberg seeks to become... So here's the problem article right here by Futurism. Mark Zuckerberg seeks to become part owner of Supreme. I'm taking my headset off, guys. Let's get serious. Staying Fresh by Frank Landymore. Some of you may have noticed this year that CEO Mark Zuckerberg, who for ages exclusively wore the same combination of gray t-shirt and blue jeans, suddenly took a keen interest in dressing in swanky hip outfits. Now that's a whole nother video. Mark Zuckerberg's drip upgrade has been pretty dope. So the Financial Times reports that Meta is in talks with the European eyewear corporation EssilorLuxottica. I could see the tech giant own a small but significant stake in the company that owns huge fashion brands like Ray-Ban, and after closing a deal to acquire it this week, the streetwear label Supreme. Oh wow. So they'd have a 5% stake, which is around $5 billion. So if EssilorLuxottica is worth almost $100 billion, do we really think, like, use your brain guys, do you think a 5% stake in that company would have anything to do with Supreme? If anything at all, actually the thing that he said makes the most sense in seeing Supreme smart glasses. But in what way is that bad? I think Supreme pivoting towards technology could be kind of neat, could be interesting. Like with their accessories, if they had maybe a partner, like someone they could do more business with, scaling their company in new ways, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. But even if that were to happen, like if Mark was to purchase 5% of Essilor EL, it does not mean that he would own 5% of Supreme. That's just not how parent companies work. So it says here that Meta and EL have already been bedfellows, which is a funny way of putting that. They've already created the Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses, so they've done some business in the past, but this is all the article is. It's 3 paragraphs with some catchy, bold titles, and it's just saying it's looking like they will go through with the acquisition. Nothing is confirmed, and it's just classic clickbait. But then you have people like Unusual Whales, who are just reposting this, reportedly seeks to become a part owner of the brand Supreme. It's just really disingenuous, and I really hate when news gets shared like this because no one actually cares to do the research. You can see all the comments. Mark going through that midlife crisis. We're witnessing an insane evolution. Zuck is cooking. The simulation continues. Not sure what to do with this information. And respect to Supreme drops. The same fake news that continues to spread. He wants to buy in Essilor, not in Supreme. Palm hand emoji. We are no longer back, this guy says. And Drop says, I don't think having Zuckerberg be anywhere near Supreme is being back. Brands that you... So to kind of sum this up, Mark Zuckerberg's involvement in EssilorLuxottica has almost nothing to do with Supreme. It has more to do with Meta wanting to be more involved in wearables, which is definitely the future of technology, given the popularity of Apple Watches and the like. I definitely think AR and then VR will become the future at some point. I don't know how much the Apple Vision Pro are actually catching on. Their price point for a lot of people is way too much. We'll see what ends up happening, but this is definitely no cause to be alarmed. This article does allude to Essilor buying Supreme for 1.5, and potentially we could maybe see Supreme smart sunglasses. But even if that was the case, it does not mean that Mark Zuckerberg and Meta would have any sort of creative control over Supreme. If we look back to the statement from EssilorLuxottica about their acquisition of Supreme, they state, with its unique brand identity, fully direct commercial approach, and customer experience, a model we will work to preserve, Supreme will have its own space within our house brand portfolio and complement our licensed portfolio as well. What that means is EL plans to give Supreme their own creative control while giving them new opportunities to use their brand's portfolio for new collabs, which may include Meta sunglasses. I think that would be the most involvement we could see. So there's no need to be worried about Facebook owning Supreme. You know, in today's modern age, guys, you really have to check your sources, read the articles, look at the information and really consider if the thing you're reading on some dude's Instagram page actually has facts behind it, because people love to say things, people love to use words like the death of Supreme or Mark Zuckerberg is going to become the part owner. It's just not the case at all, so no need to worry. I think the most we can expect of this is in a few years, we might see some Supreme smart glasses, and how is that even a bad thing? I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. I feel like I was ranting all over the place, but I really had to get that off my chest. Right here behind me, you can see the projected dates for Supreme Fall Winter 24. Expect the lookbook and previews to come out around the 12th, and week 1 expected to be on the 15th. Now I have to say, I will be on a work trip, unfortunately, during this week. I will do my best to bring a laptop and some scuffed recording settings. Probably gonna try to make it better than the last one that I did by bringing my boom arm, but definitely still going to be covering that from my hotel room. And please let me know in the comments down below what you think of all this stuff about Mark Zuckerberg, his potential 5 stake into EssilorLuxottica. Again, I don't think it has any cause to be concerned or any real facts about him buying Supreme. It's a business investment, and I think that people really kind of just took this and ran with it because it sounds interesting, it sounds dramatic, it makes people want to say things, and here I am saying things about it. So good job, clickbait articles. You got some more views on your shitty little website. All right, catch you guys in the next one. Peace.